Before I married my wife, who is 33 years old, we discussed everything in advance. It was silly stuff at first, like how we squeeze toothpaste and which direction the toilet paper roll should face. But as our relationship progressed, we talked about more serious matters such as how we would discipline our children, living wills, and what we would do if we had a child with severe special needs. We made the decision that we did not want to bring a child into the world to suffer. Fortunately, we were never faced with that situation. I confided in my sister, who is also my best friend, about this. However, she ran to our parents and told them that we were terrible people for considering ending a pregnancy that wouldn't give us a perfect child. I never said that. We had to spend days explaining that we knew what we could handle and what we could deal with. My parents were not happy with our decision. Unfortunately, my sister, who is 36 years old, did not have this talk with her husband. When she was pregnant with their second child, the doctor informed them that the child would have many health issues. They prayed about it and decided to go forward with the pregnancy. Now, my niece is a preteen and my sister is divorced. The medical expenses drained all their savings, and her ex-husband could not handle the responsibility of caring for their daughter for the rest of her life. During Thanksgiving, my sister was struggling. My niece is in diapers and will be for the rest of her life. My sister cannot work because she needs special childcare, which no daycare offers. The cost of prescriptions is hundreds, if not thousands, every month. My parents are helping her. But my dad had to postpone his retirement to provide her with financial support. My wife and I also contribute $500 a month, which may not be much, but it still affects our budget. My sister wants to move in with me, my wife who works from home, and my mother-in-law who lives with us to help with our children, so that we can all take care of my niece. However, we do not have enough space for 3 more people. She also wants to bring her nephew, but we do not have the budget to make our house accessible for them. I told her that we are not responsible for her life choices. My parents believe that I should step up and help, or else they will give everything to my sister when they pass away. I suggested that they set up a trust for her now, but that was not the answer they wanted. Now everyone in the family is calling me an idiot for not taking care of my sister and niece. So I am asking if I am the idiot for not wanting to be in a situation that I intentionally avoided. Not the idiot. Your niece is not your responsibility. Your sister needs to look into getting your niece on disability and finding group homes for her if she has not already done so. In a few years, your niece will be too big to lift without help. The best you can do is try to find resources to make her life easier. Your mother-in-law, who it seems isn't even related to your sister, isn't a free caregiver. His father had to postpone retirement, and now she expects OP's wife's mother to also sacrifice her own golden years for her daughter as well. Wow, there are plenty of state-based waiver services. She needs to look into those. Also, apparently, OP's wife working from home actually means she's available as a full-time caregiver. That's not how it works. Everyone in the family is calling me an idiot for not taking care of my sister and niece. OP, kudos to you for sending $6,000 a year to your sister to assist her in caring for your niece. Your sister is understandably exhausted, but the primary responsibility for the child falls on her and the child's father. He needs to step up financially and physically. And your sister really needs to look into a group home where her daughter can be cared for by skilled staff. She may have paternal family members who could be helping. It is outrageous for anyone to arbitrarily decide unilaterally that you, your wife, and your mother-in-law must take responsibility for your niece for the next 30+ years. OP, don't let yourself be guilted into damaging your family and finances. Your sister had moral and religious reasons for taking on this situation, and these are her and her ex-husband's responsibilities to bear. It's entitled and arrogant to shove them onto you. Stand firm. My ex-husband's son, Caden, was born during our marriage, and I was in a vulnerable space, so it didn't make sense for me to leave. Caden's mother was institutionalized a few months after his birth, and my ex got full custody. Now, I wasn't a mother to him at all. Just a responsible adult who cooked meals for him, kept him safe, and looked after him when he was sick. I finally left my situation when Caden was a toddler, and I still babysit him sometimes, because I'm the only one he feels comfortable with, other than his father. Now, after struggling with infertility for years, I had a surprise baby with my friend Will. It was a shock to both of us, but we decided to embrace the gift and co-parent together. Will is my best friend, and his son Aiden, a kindergartner, is a doting big brother to my infant daughter. The other day I was babysitting Caden for a few hours when he and Aiden got into a fight over my daughter. Caden told Aiden that my daughter was his sister and not Aiden's. I gently explained that even though he was not my daughter's big brother, he could be her buddy. He was inconsolable. I had to tell him that Aiden was indeed her big brother. My ex is furious with me for telling him that my daughter isn't his sister. He thinks that my comments were harsh and inappropriate for a child that young. I think that my comments were okay. Down the line, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. He isn't her brother. Set that boundary now. It's foolish for his father to say otherwise when that isn't the fact. Please don't allow him to lie to his son. But for God's sake, stop babysitting him. It's clear from your post that you have zero maternal feelings for this child. He should be with his family anyway. I'm not sure I can declare a sentence here. You say that you weren't a mother, and yet you cared for this child the entire first few years of his life and still watch him occasionally. It seems to me that he considered you to be his mother. And so by extension, he considers your daughter his sister. So by telling him that he's not her brother, you were basically telling him that he's not part of your family. I feel for that little boy. How confusing and heartbreaking for him at that age. It wasn't right for your ex to get furious at you, but I also don't think you properly considered your role in his child's life. The only way this child could have come up with this idea that the babysitter's baby was his sister is if his dad was drilling that idea into his head. Many people are jumping all over OP and commenting that she has equal responsibility here. The dad is the one responsible here. OP is not to blame because she actually stepped up and tried to help the child. It's also worth noting that it sounds like he messed around on her, conceived a kid, and then seemed to have expected her to be a mother figure. Gross. Exactly. It's funny how many people criticize OP for being a decent human being. She was in a vulnerable state where she couldn't leave a blatant cheater who fathered a child with another while married to her and then took the child home. She ensured the child did not starve or was neglected, and even continued babysitting as needed. You may call me cold, but if I were in her position, I wouldn't consider Caden my son, or provide parental affection. The child is innocent, but I'm not a freaking saint. OP is not the idiot, and the ex is a massive gaping idiot. I can't believe he dared to even get mad at her. I'm a 29-year-old male and I have a girlfriend, Lily, who is 26. Lily and I have been dating for around 8 months. I also have a daughter, Alice, from my previous relationship with my ex-fiancée Rachel, who is also 29. Our relationship ended for multiple complicated reasons which I won't get into. However, it mainly boiled down to us simply not being romantically compatible. Rachel and I are on good terms. We've had a few petty disagreements initially, but we've been able to co-parent well. Lily has never had an issue with me being a single dad, and she interacts really well with Alice. However, recently I think Lily really overstepped and acted inappropriately. Last week, Alice's school had a fair. There were games, prizes, food, and music. Alice is in her school's dance club, which was performing towards the end of the fair. I spoke to Rachel about the event, and we agreed that I would take Alice to the fair, and Rachel would meet us there and then take Alice back home. Lily insisted on joining us, and I saw no reason why she couldn't come along. However, Rachel did not meet us as planned. I tried calling her several times, but she did not answer. Lily seemed more annoyed than I was and went on about how Rachel should not be late and needs to prioritize her time better. I told Lily that Rachel was probably stuck in traffic and that it was not a big deal. Rachel ended up being 2 hours late and did not arrive until after the dance performance. She explained that her boss made her stay past her scheduled time and apologized. Rachel is usually punctual. I will admit that Alice was disappointed, but these things happen. Lily was furious and confronted Rachel in front of Alice. She accused Rachel of not caring about her child and being disorganized. Lily even compared Rachel to her own mother and said she hated her for it. I tried to calm Lily down and prevent an argument, but Rachel started yelling at her and said she had no right to criticize her, as she was not Alice's parent. They got into a heated argument and caused a scene. Alice started crying, and Rachel eventually took her to her car and left. I took Lily home, but I was angry with her. The next day when Lily was calmer, I told her that she had crossed a line and owed Rachel an apology. Lily was surprised by my words and insisted that Rachel was at fault for not being organized and prioritizing her child. I told Lily that it did not matter and that her behavior was inappropriate. She was upset that I did not take her side and has been cold towards me. Even if your ex was disorganized and a mess, it is not your girlfriend's place to point it out in front of your child. I would be furious if I were in your shoes. Your girlfriend can talk to you in private, but she should not badmouth your co-parent in front of your child. This situation is already difficult, and she only made it worse by causing a rift between us. I told her she needs to apologize or move on. She is not just an idiot, but her behavior is unacceptable. Even if she was triggered by her own childhood issues, her reaction shows that she is unstable. The fact that she was surprised when I asked her to apologize is a red flag. She does not see what she did wrong, and it was a serious mistake. Your child's emotional well-being should always come first. Your child's emotional safety and your positive co-parenting relationship with your ex are your priorities here. Unfortunately, your girlfriend does not respect either one. If I'm honest, it's even boundary pushing to request to come to your child's school after only 8 months of dating. I will let this relationship go. If you don't, you'll look back and think of this incident as the siren you ignored. So my ex-husband and I split about a year ago. He had been cheating for over half of the number of years we had been together, and I caught him in bed with a man and a woman. He was bisexual, but I divorced him soon after despite all the pleas, and we went our separate ways. I've tried to explain briefly, without outing him to my teenage daughter, why we're splitting. My intention was never to turn her away from her dad, or make her hate him. We had originally stated that we would try to keep this brief and shelter our daughter from this harsh time as much as possible. Lately, she's been very hateful and disrespectful towards me, and for the longest time, I couldn't understand why, until she got into a fit and told me that I ruined her life, and that if I had just kept my legs closed, she would still have her family back together. This shocked me. At first I was angry, but then I was confused about where she got this information. I had asked her before, and she said that she wasn't going to talk to me when I was the one who ruined her life. So, I called her father and asked him if he knew anything about this, and if he had told anyone that I was the one who messed up. But he dismissed everything and said he had no clue where she had gotten that information from. Now I was really confused, and back to being angry that she said this to me, but I chose to wait until I knew what was going on. I tried talking to her multiple times, but she continued to shut me down and say that I ruined her life. I'm a terrible mom. I chose myself above her family, and I'm the only one to blame for her not having a mom and dad together. So I reached out to all family and friends to see if they had said anything that would lead to this as well. Now, I'm not proud of this, but I saw a message come up on my daughter's phone, and I peeked at it. The message read, "I know, sweetie, just 3 more days." It was from her dad. So I opened the phone to see tons of messages of the two going back and forth with her, telling him that she was sick of being here. She didn't want to be near me after I did that, and she couldn't believe I would cheat. She's disgusted by me, and her father just agreed and consoled her. I had asked him multiple times if he knew anything about her behavior, and he said no. He blamed me for no reason. I called him once again after that, and messaged him about it when he didn't respond, and got left on read. I sat my daughter down and told her that I knew she was angry at me. And I had tried to shelter her from this, and keep her as far away from this as possible, but I won't be held accountable for actions that weren't mine. I left any and all questions that I couldn't answer without his perspective. She was shocked and apologized for her behavior towards me. This wasn't some petty revenge to get back at him, but I can't have my relationship with her ruined either. I'm now getting blasted by all of my family and his for doing this. So am I the idiot? Not the idiot. And you should screenshot and keep those messages of him turning her against you. That's illegal in many places, as it's parental alienation. Also, keep any messages where he admitted he was the one who cheated, and where you agreed not to discuss it with her. Next, I'd consult a lawyer in case he takes this further. Oh man, I actually get furious when cheaters say their partner cheated and try to get their kids to hate the faithful parent. He's such trash. He's not worth anything. Sweetie, just 3 more days? What a joke he is. Yeah, your ex opened that can of worms. You just set the record straight. I respect the fact that you tried to shield your daughter from the reasons behind the split. Too bad your ex-husband had no such respect for her. He should have kept his mouth shut if he didn't want her to know. No idea why your family would give you a hard time defending yourself when you are the wronged party. Has he fed them lies as well? However, how you want your co-parenting to go depends on how you handle this. Setting the record straight was important to do, but I think all 3 of you need to sit down and talk through this so that she can feel as close to the truth as possible. I've been struggling my entire pregnancy to keep food down, and I lost too much weight initially. Things are getting better now, but everybody, especially my husband, is overly concerned about my eating habits. But it's only making it harder for me to eat. We live with my in-laws, and so I usually have breakfast and lunch with my mother-in-law and sister-in-law. I've stopped having meals with them though, as they update my husband on how much I've eaten at each meal, which usually leads to him telling me that I need to eat more. I asked them to stop, but it didn't help. I've started lying and claiming I'm tired, so they'll send food to my room instead. My husband asked me to stop doing this, as his mother is upset that I'm avoiding them. And they're all worried about my health. I've refused, so he's been having both meals with me in our room for the last few days. We keep arguing over this, and I know it's a huge inconvenience for him to take time out of work to eat with me. So am I the idiot for continuing to refuse to eat my meals with them? Not the idiot. That's some deranged boundary breaching right there. They deny your autonomy to a really weird level. It sounds like your in-laws are trying to control your eating habits, and your husband is enabling them. It's important for you to take care of your health and do what makes you comfortable. Your husband should be supporting you, not forcing you to eat with people who make you uncomfortable. It's also concerning that your in-laws are updating your husband on your eating habits, and he's using that information to pressure you to eat more. It's not fair for them to interfere in your relationship with your husband, and it's not fair for your husband to put their feelings above yours. You have the right to make your own decisions about your health and your relationship with your in-laws. It's important for you to stand your ground and continue to do what's best for you. Your partner needs to understand that you are a person deserving of respect, not just a walking baby-growing apparatus. Your husband will need to advocate for you throughout your pregnancy and labor. And even when you become parents. It seems like he needs to reassess his priorities. They are doing this because your husband has asked them to. But it is a form of control that he is trying to subject you to. If he truly supported you, he would have told them to stop the first time and that their behavior is unacceptable. Any further reports should be met with anger towards them for monitoring your food intake against your will and your husband's. Instead, you are in an abusive marriage with a partner who has a toxic and enabling family. If your own family or a supportive friend is available, consider staying with them while you decide if you want to remain in this marriage. You are already lying and hiding in your bedroom to avoid conflict, and if you do not feel safe in your home, it is time to leave and get away.